What's going on, guys? Today I want to talk to you about the 8 things you must know about a company when you're researching them. All right, let's get started. First thing we're going to talk about is you want to know when and how they were founded. Usually there's a pretty good story behind this, young entrepreneur going out and starting the journey for himself or herself. Usually pretty inspiring story, maybe even a group of people, but it's very important to know this and just be able to talk about and understand the culture of the company. Next thing we want to talk about is we want to know what services or products they offer. Nothing's more important than knowing this, because imagine walking into a job at Apple and not knowing what an iPhone is. Now, you don't have to understand how an iPhone is made or every attribute of an iPhone, but it's important to know what the company does. Third thing we want to talk about is the overall market that's going on right now. Now, for example, if you're applying for a job at a steel company and you don't understand what the dynamics are of the steel industry or everything else that's going on around it, it's probably not going to be good. Sometimes there may be a question. It may not even be a formal question, a technical question that you maybe have to answer, but being able to talk about the industry and the business is very important and can really differentiate yourself from the other candidates. Now, this fourth one kind of ties back in the one I mentioned earlier in the fact about products, but you want to mention and know the new products and services. Even if they're not out yet, something that could potentially be out, it shows you researched the company, it shows you gave the extra effort. Even if something may not be coming out, even if it's just a theory, even if it's just an idea at this point, it's good to know about it, it's good to talk about it, because it also shows you have a future outlook on life. It helps to show all the extra effort, and that's mainly what this information is about. Yes, theoretically, you could get away with not knowing this, but knowing the company are those slight differences that's going to give you a huge advantage when it comes to the other candidates. The fifth thing, and this is probably one of the most important things I believe you should find, is the mission statement and the values. Now, I put those two together because they're basically the same thing. When you have a mission statement, it ties in your values and vice versa. And companies love this, especially with what's going on in the world right now and the importance in the 21st century of business and culture coming together. It's absolutely vital to know the values and the mission statements of the companies. And this is very easy to do. Simply look on their website. It takes maybe 5 minutes to find. Highly recommend this. The next thing we're going to go off, which is very close to what I just said before, is philanthropy and volunteer services. The reason why I want you guys to know this is because people are proud of the good things they do. You don't talk about the bad things you did. You talk about the great things you've done, the good, positive service events, volunteering, caring for other people. And why I want you to do that is, one, because it's great to do that. But second of all, people are going to want to talk about that, and that includes the person who's interviewing you. So if you ask a question about the last Excel spreadsheet they did, they're not going to remember, they're not going to talk about that, but they're going to talk about the service day in the summer when they went to the animal shelter or they went to the homeless shelter and helped out. It's going to be a great thing to talk about. They're going to love talking about it. They're going to get a great feeling, and they will go on and on about it. It's such an important thing to know that you're just not another employee there, that you actually care about the community and care about the values they have. Next thing we're going to talk about is the news and media. Now, with everything going on, I know there's a lot of different things of media and news, some true, some not. I'm not going to get into that. I don't know. But the good thing is about when it comes to companies, you pretty much know this is very reliable. It's not involved with politics, although it sometimes can be. I think you should just stay away from that when applying for a company, and that's just my personal opinion. Some people disagree. But the thing is that the news and media affects what goes on in the company. And if you don't know about, say, a Chinese and U.S. trade war that's going on, and it affects the company's business, it may hurt you. Obviously, it's not the end of the world. But if you know that there's an issue between the U.S. and China, and someone asks you a question on that, you can give an insightful feedback. It's not opinionated. It just, gives a neutral response that adds to the conversation. I think it's very helpful. I do not think this is the number one most important thing that's going on that you should do, but I think that if you're going to go the extra mile, this is the way to go. So the last thing I want you to look up are the impact players. And by this, I mean the head honchos, the CEOs, the CFOs, the head managers. This is so important to do because when they ask you, oh, what do you think about so-and-so's speech, or what do you think about so-and-so's statement, and you don't know, and it's the CEO of the company, you look really bad. You could have great skills, but when they have 1,000 other candidates, they also have great skills as well. You need to know these people because they can help you out so much more and just in these little interactions. And I just want to summarize, most of these things are not going to make or break your interview, and the fact that if you forget one of these, it's not the end of the world. However, when you have 800 candidates applying for one position, every advantage helps, and that's why I think these are so important. I hope that helps. I know you guys are going to do great. Stay positive, keep a good mindset, and overall, just crush it. Thanks, guys.